Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa namine Gora Karuna Kartaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa namine Gora Karuna Kartaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa namine Gora Karuna Kartaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa namine Gora Karuna Kartaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda
Kapala Govinda Rama
Krsna
Madana No Anda Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Naminehi Odakana Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prasaya Te
So I'll read here. Today we'll read the wonderful Krsna. And after that we will discuss how we can be connected in harmony with His love, with His pleasure, and what is the importance of being in knowledge with wisdom about the absolute truth, about our true transcendental nature, and we will also discuss the fear that all of us are experiencing. That's why we cannot really surrender or give our life to God. That's why we're here. So we will discuss that after reading wonderful Krsna. Okay? Without understanding the intricacies of Krsna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and without knowing His uncommon spiritual opulences, the innocent cowherd boys and men of Vrindavan began to discuss the wonderful activities of Krishna, which surpass the activities of all men. One of them said, "My dear friends, considering these wonderful activities, how is it possible that such an uncommon boy would come and live with us in Vrindavan? It's really not possible. Just imagine, he is now only 7 years old. How was it possible for him to leave Govardhan Hill in one hand and hold it up just like the king of the elephants hold a lotus flower? To leave a lotus flower is the most insignificant thing for an elephant. And similarly, Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill without exertion. When he was simply a small baby, he could not even see properly. He killed a great demon, Putana, while sucking her breast. He also sucked out her life air. Krishna killed the Putana demon exactly as eternal time kills a living creature in due course of time. When he was only 3 months old, he was sleeping underneath a hand-driven cart. Being hungry for his mother's breast, he began to cry and throw his legs upward. And when from kicking of his small feet, the cart immediately broke apart and fell to pieces. When he was only 1 year old, he was carried away by Trinavarta demon, disguised as a whirlwind. And although he was taken very high in the sky, he simply hung on the neck of the demon and forced him to fall down from the sky and immediately die. Once his mother, being disturbed by his eating butter, tied him to a wooden mortar, and the child pushed it towards a pair of trees known as Yamala Arjuna and caused them to fall. Once, when he was engaged in tending the calves in the forest along with his elder brother Balaram, a demon Bakasur appeared, and Krishna at once bifurcated the demon's beak. When the demon known as Bhattasura entered among the calves tended by Krishna with a desire to kill him, immediately detected the demon, killed him, and threw him into a tree. When Krishna, along with his brother Balaram, entered the Talabana forest, the demon known as Dhenukasur, in the shape of an ass, attacked them and was immediately killed by Balaram, who caught his hind legs and threw him in a palm tree. Although Dhenukasura demon was assisted by his cohorts, also shape of asses, all were killed, and the Talabana forest was then opened for the use of the animals and inhabitants of Vrindavan. When Pralambasura entered amongst his cowherd boy friends, he caused his death by Balaram. Thereafter, Krishna saved his friends and cows from the severe forest fire, and he chastised the Kaliya serpent in the lake of Jamuna and forced him to leave the vicinity of Jamuna river. He thereby made the water of Jamuna poisonless. Another one of the friends of Nanda Maharaj said, "My dear Nanda, we do not know why we are so attracted by your son Krishna. We want to forget him, but this is impossible. Why are we so naturally affectionate towards him? Just imagine how wonderful it is. In one hand, he is only a boy of 7 years old, and on the other hand, there is a huge hill like Govardhan Hill, and he lifted it so easily. O Nanda Maharaj, we are now in great doubt. Your son Krishna must be one of the demigods. He's not only an ordinary boy, maybe he's the supreme personality of Godhead. On hearing the praises of the cowherd men of in Vrindavan, King Nanda said, "My dear friends, in reply to you, I can only simply present the statement of Gargamuni, so that your doubts may be cleared. When he came to perform the name-giving ceremony, he said that this boy descends in different periods of time, in different colors. And at this time, he appeared in Vrindavan in a dark color as known as Krsna. Previously, he was white color, then red color, then yellow color. He also said that this boy, once the son of Vasudev, and everyone who knows of his previous birth calls him Vasudeva. Actually, he said that my son has many varieties of names, according to his different qualities and activities. Garga Acharya assured me that this boy will be all auspicious for my family, and that he will be able to give transcendental blissful pleasure to all the cowherd men and cows in Vrindavan. Even though we will be put into great various kinds of difficulties, by the grace of this boy, we will be very easily freed from them." He also said that formerly this boy saved the world from the unregulated condition, and he saved all honest men from the hands of the dishonest. And also said that any fortunate man who becomes attached to this boy, Krishna, is never vanquished or defeated by his enemy. On the whole, he is exactly like Lord Vishnu, who always takes the side of the demigods, who are consequently never defeated by the demons. Garga Acharya then concluded that my child will grow to be exactly like Vishnu in a transcendental beauty, qualification, activities, influence, and opulence. And so we should not be very astonished by his wonderful activities. After telling me this, Garga Acharya returned home, and since then, we have been continually seeing the wonderful activities of this child. According to the version of Ganga Acharya, I consider that he must be Narayan himself, or maybe a plenary portion of Narayan. When all the cowherd men very attentively heard the statement of Ganga Acharya through Nanda Maharaj, they better appreciated the wonderful activities of Krishna and became very jubilant and satisfied. They began to praise Nanda Maharaj because by consulting him, their doubts about Krishna was cleared. They said, "Let Krishna, who is so kind, beautiful, and merciful, protect us." When angry Indra sent torrents of rain, accompanied by showers of ice blocks and high winds, he immediately took compassion upon us and saved us from our families, cows, and valuable possession by picking up the Govardhan hill just as a child picks up a mushroom. He saved us so wonderfully. May he continue to be mercifully glance over us and our cows. May we live peacefully under the protection of wonderful Krishna. Thus end of Bhaktivedanta purport of the 26th chapter of Krishna, Wonderful Activities. The main reason why we are not able to come to really be surrendering our life to the Supreme Person, to experience harmony with His love, His will, and desire, is because of our material disease. We have been identifying ourselves as this body, and this ignorance of our true eternal nature and identity make it very hard for us to enter the world, this transcendental world, and take shelter of Lord Krishna. So the residents of Vrindavan, they're simply focused in understanding the glories of God, their love for the Supreme Person, and they are completely surrendered to Him. So, how is it that we are not able to be in harmony, in parallel, in an amiable relationship with God, in loving service? How is it? So when the living entity us comes to this world, we become contaminated by this material disease. We become covered. Just like, how is character developed? For example, a child, because the parents are also ignorant. They don't know how to take care of a child. They simply want to direct their love because it's natural for us to render service. So they begin to focus their love upon the child. But this child begins to see it as an opportunity to do his will. So in the beginning, when he sees things in the house, he picks it up. He tries to get it, for his enjoyment. In short, he begins to steal something, get something that does not belong to him, that he doesn't even need. It becomes his activity, that whatever he sees, he tries to grab it, he gets it, he steals it. In the beginning, he steals only small amount, nothing. But after a while, he gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it becomes natural for him to steal, to get something that does not belong to him. He becomes a thief. He develops the character of the thief. And it becomes him. He becomes a thief. So when the living entity comes to this world, due to ignorance, we become so engrossed in this body. It becomes our shelter. It becomes our foundation for happiness. We identify with it. I'm this body. I have to protect myself. And what is the greatest impediment that gets along the way that we face and worry? What is that? Death. We're always fearful. We're always fearful, and because of ignorance, we think if I am dead, I will not be happy. It's all about us, this identification of the body. It has become our character to identify with the senses, the mind, the desire, and try to fulfill it. So for us, that means that it will be cut off because we identify with the source of so-called supposedly life, the source of happiness. So when we come in contact with someone who is a seer of the truth and tells us, like for example, the beloved Son of God comes, tells us, surrender everything to God. Just like this rich man who wants to follow Lord Jesus Christ, tells him, Master, I'd like to follow you, become your follower. And Jesus Christ tells him, give everything up. Whatever wealth you have, give it up, and follow me. And because a person is so dependent upon the wealth, because wealth is synonymous to survival and control, you become so dependent. What? If I give everything or what I have, I'm gonna die. Diba? So, fear. How we can transcend fear. And how this fear and in ignorance becomes a hindrance in embracing God, in doing the will of God. We identify with this body. And the greatest fear we have is the death of this body. That's why we work. They call it survival of the fittest, but nobody survived. The body dies. So now, we must be with wisdom. So the seers of the truth, one who sees with wisdom, understand the different nature of matter and life. Just like you now here, you're sitting down in front of me. You're in this inside that body. You're covered by material energy. What is material energy made out? Oh, because your teacher is made out of atoms and molecules. But if you can understand, it's in gross, it's made out of earth, water, fire, air, ether. This body is 80% made of water. So the components made out of matter, and we identify with it. And it will break down, it gets destroyed, and they call it death. So if we can understand that there's two energies, matter and life, and you are the person, life, me, very simple. You come here now, you kiss your mama, you embrace her. Mommy, thank you for the breakfast you have prepared, everything, Okay, you come here. Okay, go to work. Then in the afternoon, you come home and you see everybody there. Oh, there's a lot of people in our house. And I see this forlorn. What happened here? And then you go inside and you see, and your Lola comes out crying. Your mom is gone. Your mom is gone. She died. She left us. She died. She's gone. Yeah? And then you go there. Mama, why did you leave us? So that you can understand. The body is there. Who left? There's a person. There's an energy who left the body. But because we identify with this body, we think happiness is only in the proximity of sensual enjoyment. We identify with the body, and if anything hinders this grasping or having to achieve what you think will give happiness to the senses, for you it's really troublesome and it's dead. That's why you feel, if I give my life to God, serve God, then what will I have? So with this wisdom of understanding your true identity, how is it understood? Just this practical example. But based upon the teachings of the Vedas, Vedas means wisdom and knowledge. It is about Lord Krishna discussing with Arjuna in the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna was put, his best friend, Krishna and Arjuna, they're together. Arjuna treats Krishna as his friend. But during this time, in the battle of Kurukshetra, there's war that will decide who will rule the world. Bharatat Barsha, this world. Because two families will be fighting, who are related, bodily related, will be engaging in warfare. And not only warfare that what you see here, it's about a war that will decide who will rule the world. And all the great warriors from different countries took sides. Cambodia, all the different countries, different kingdoms went there to fight, to support these two families. Either they're in the side of Arjuna, the Pandavas, or the Kurus. But they're cousins. And it will be decided who will rule the world. So Arjuna got confused because on the other side of the battlefield, his teachers, his beloved teachers are there, his friends, his cousins are all on the other side, and he will fight and do battle with them. He got confused, and Krishna advised him, because he got so confused, he decided not to fight. He decided just to go to the mountains and meditate. He became a pacifist. What gain if I kill all of them? What is the glory? So he said, Krishna tells him, because you're in ignorance, you don't know who you are. You think you're gonna kill them? You must understand your true identity. So this Krishna tells him. So if you understand this, dying from ignorance of false bodily identification destroys this false character that I have developed and nurtured and been conditioned, false bodily identification. I identify myself as this body, belonging, my father is such and such, my husband is such and such, I am a Filipino, I belong to this race, I belong to this faith. These are all temporary. These are all covering ignorance that we have embraced and covered us. We must become free from this so we can see what life is and what love is, to enter that world of harmony so we can have this complete surrender. The point is, we cannot surrender. We cannot give, because when we think we surrender, we lose something. But by nature, we're eternally the loving servant. Either we serve God favorably or we serve God through a different energy, but still belongs to Him. We will still be servant. On one hand, the service is about experiencing the love, the joy, no fear. On the other hand, it's about fear. We're serving God by force because we are now in this false ego of our not understand our true nature. We're trying to enjoy and do our will to dominate. Dominate means try to be in control. It's different from being responsible. I'm not saying you should not be responsible. But now you are making this choice to do your own will. And this choice, not doing your own will, is completely not in harmony with our true nature as eternally the loving servant of God. Because our true eternal activity is to render loving service to God, to our friend. And why is it? It's very hard for us. It goes against the grain if I serve God. Because we identify ourselves as a body and the control we have, supposedly the source of our security and enjoyment, which we experience every day in fear, we don't want to give it up because of ignorance. So I'll tell you these teachings of Lord Krishna to put an address in a nutshell, clearly, absolutely, about our true identity. First begins with identity, okay? So he tells Arjuna, those who are seers of truth have concluded that of the non-existent there is no endurance, and of the existent there is no cessation. The seers have concluded by studying the nature of both. So it's not just joining, it's not making believe or hearing from someone because we're thinking, this person is very intelligent. Yeah? Somebody says, he's the representative of God. No. We should hear wisdom that is absolute and eternal, coming from God Himself. So the beginning of understanding of our true identity will be the foundation to become free, to be in harmony with God, because we can make a choice and become free from this fear of death. Know that which pervades the entire body is indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. No one can destroy the imperishable soul. You, the person. So this one quality of the spirit soul. A different energy from matter. He who thinks that the living entity is the slayer or that he is slain does not understand. One who is in knowledge knows that the self is slain, slays not, nor is he slain. Understand? One who is in knowledge knows that the self slays not, nor is slain. You think you're gonna kill that person, you only destroy his body. You cannot kill him. Because here, the quality of the spirit soul is described by Lord Krishna. Because different energy, you. Just look, are you passing through different body? Your baby body is gone. Your child body is gone. Because the body is made out of cells. And cells last only for 7 years. And through metabolism, it's all replaced. And what is metabolism? Bodily metabolism, what you eat. And what is cellular metabolism? The chemicals in your body synthesize it with the food you eat. And it's taken by the cell and excreted by the body through waste. Dead hair, saliva, urine, stool. So you, the person in this body, just like when you're driving a car, the more the fuel you consume, the more the oil, the smoke comes out, and you see, the engine needs another set of oil, and the fuel is being is running down. You have to replace it. So this science is clearly understood when you see the fewer ones in a baby body, a young boy's body, a young man's body, and this body now. And description is this. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, unborn, eternal, and immutable, kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? You cannot kill the spirit soul. But this body, this domain, can be killed. So it's better to die materially because it's the beginning of our spiritual life when we have this wisdom. And it's not really hard. It's very hard to die materially because we are so attached to this body. Our mind and our consciousness has been focused upon this body. And there are laws here, the laws of karma. That's why we're transmigrating from one body to another because our meditation is upon this dead body. So to stop this, it's better to die materially. Because the focus now will be in harmony with what is eternal and transcendental. Because if our meditation is about this dead body, then we're gonna suffer on and on and on. It will be very hard for us because to surrender ourselves. Because we identify with this false ego of trying to play Lord, to do our will. And we're not self-sufficient. We're not all-powerful. We will be subjugated and will be under different laws. The laws of birth, death, disease, and knowledge. Who can deny it? Everybody dies in this world. And everybody, even the greatest country, they say, America, the most powerful country. Where are the heroes? Where is Washington? Where is Abraham Lincoln? Where are those great warriors fighting in Afghanistan? They all died. Nobody will exist in this body eternally. And it can be seen even now. Look at you. You were once in a baby body. That dead baby body is dead and gone. It goes to waste. The law of transformation of energy, that a certain energy that is here undergoes transformation. So the body that you have made out of material energy is continually changing and being replaced through metabolism. While you're here in this body, and when you go home and you see your mother, she's gone, she's dead. She left us, and everybody's so confused. They dress the body, it's okay. They put it in a casket, and they put it in a tomb, And with this false idea of ignorance being put forward by blind people who are not in knowledge, they teach you resurrection of the dead. Like, very practical. The body of Nichalila's sister who died because they were, somebody put a bomb in their tried to kill them all. Somebody tried to assassinate the whole family of Nichalila before. They put this bomb that it blew two of his sisters, or her sisters. They died. And because they have this big land near the cemetery, they put the body there. And we went there to open that tomb. You know what we saw? Nothing. Even the bones disintegrated. Nothing. It's all matter. You know, who will resurrect? Who will resurrect? The body? It goes against science. It's just wishful thinking. It's ignorance. So this should be cleared, clarified, absolutely. So we can have this, we can be brave enough. And being brave is not blind. Brave with wisdom that I can take shelter of God. Just like the residents of Vrindavan. With my eternal friend Krsna. And become free from all this material conditioning. You know what's the material conditioning we have? False bodily identification. We try. Why? Because we want to be accepted. We think that people, they always look at, oh, how do I look? Nobody can even see you, you know. Can they see your mind? I am sitting down here. Can you see me? You see my body. But you know I'm here in this body because I can talk to you. I'm not talking at your body. I'm talking to you. Because I know you're there. Will you talk to the dead body? You know? People are crazy, no? Get really confused. A person puts on a new garment, giving up the old ones. Similarly, the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. So, if we can try to learn this intricate science of transmigration of the soul from different bodies through reincarnation, but even in this time now, you can see that the soul is passing through different bodies. I can still remember my high school days. You know, all my friends, when I went to Zamboanga, I came there, I cannot even recognize my friends, you know. Oh, their bodies so flabby, someone's walking, no, have heart attack, cardiac arrest, and they're just, you know, but when they're there, you know, they still sing songs of, you know, the music, the same music that we've been hearing, you know, CSNY, you know. Maybe you're still not born during that time, you know, during the 70s, you know. This guy, you know, Carol King, you know, the songs and everything, they're still singing it, you know, and someone is still singing the song that we sing during high school, during the time we were always there in the place of worship. No man is an island. And I think, no man is an island. You cannot stay alone, you know. You should have friends. But now your friends are most of them are gone. Your mother is gone. What will you do? Who will give you the wisdom? What will be the foundation of your happiness and shelter? And if the foundation of your happiness is this temporary body, then you're a loser. You're born loser, you die past this world as a born loser. You're holding the bag with an empty bag. We should not be like that. We should be with wisdom because God loves us. The reason you were so much afraid of surrendering to God, we have this fear because we're hearing from someone who have been in ignorance and doesn't know unconditional love. Unconditional love. Either you love Him or you don't love Him. He loves you. He cares for you. He always thinks of you. He's your best well-wisher. Krishna, God. But they don't know God. So they try to protect what you think is your happiness. You know? They put forward pseudo-religiosity about salvation, about fear. And you begin to fear God. Because why are you fearful? Because you know in your heart, all of us, we know that we're temporary here and we've been doing so many things. A skeleton in the closet and we know we have done so much and really sinful and we're afraid. And they say, just be saved, kid, and you won't be afraid. You will be free from this anxiety every day. That's nonsense. First foundation, understand who you are first. With that, that's the first step in the right direction to you know God. Okay? Because it puts death to this material contamination. We begin to understand, yes, I'm spirit soul. All the effort I've been doing for so long, trying to build this, in this home, like you have a house, you're trying very hard to reorganize. Maybe we can do something here, put windows, put tiles, just like in this body now. What do? Maybe there's, they talk, girls talk. There's a new perfume, if you put it here, it will last for a week, and it can be smelled, 10 meters away, and when you pass by, the smell is still there. Wow, everybody talks, and it's very cheap. And there's this new soap, if you put it, you don't need to go to this glutathione injection that will cause cancer. You become so clear. And they talk about it. The meditation is all about this, trying to, refurbish the house. That's what we do with this body. We think we are the house. We are this body. But because even the solid house, just like the 3 little pigs who tried to live in their house, they all got killed. Because even the house that's made out of metal, and even houses made out of metal will break down. So here Krsna tells us, the soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can be burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind, because you're a different energy. Why do you wear dress? Because you think, it's cold, But the spirit soul is a different energy. You don't die. You can never be burned by fire. But this body can be burned by fire. The individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can never be burned nor dried. He is everlasting, all-pervading, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. I'm still the same person in this body who can remember my childhood. I can still remember my teacher, my classmate, but they're all gone. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, immutable, unchangeable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. So look at this. Your mom, you're relating to your mom as a body, the person. But when she left, the person is gone. It's not hard to understand. So that's the beginning. So that is the foundation for spiritual life. So now, when we talk of love, we talk of unconditional. Unconditional, He simply loves you. What is inherent in all of us? Love. We want to love someone. We want to surrender to someone. But in false bodily identification, we always think, will she accept me? Or will he accept me? It's all about a condition, And like, if you give me this, I give you that. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. It's all about condition. What you get, what she gets, to get that love. But since the spirit soul, you, by nature, you are joyful. And now the joy you're looking is directed upon the senses. The fulfillment you want for love and care is directed upon this world. So Krishna, the Supreme Person, must be understood with purity. We must first understand our true transcendental nature. Aham Brahmasmi. I am a different energy from matter. I'm light. And the first foundation is Brahman realization. Aham Brahmasmi. And then when we understand our true transcendental nature, what will be the next? Our position. We're eternally the loving servant, loving friend, loving child of God. That's our nature. Transcendental activities. And our activities is rendering loving service. Surrendering, giving, doing everything in love. But now it's directed upon this temporary world and we're always in fear. Because we know it will be put in a stop at the time of death. And not only that, it's never really fulfilled. Because it's not in harmony with the source that is inexhaustible, the unlimited supreme person, the Lord of love, the Lord who is all-powerful, who is our best friend. So who will introduce us again to our best friend? We must become free from this disease. And this disease, Krsna himself purifies it. That's why the spiritual master, who is a confidential loving servant of God, sent by God, who comes voluntarily to this world, comes to fetch us, to calm us, fetch us. God's love comes, fetch us, and describe to us, gives us His wisdom of what we have forgotten, our true eternal nature, our true eternal position and function as eternally the loving servant of God, and become fearless. Because we will not be fearing death. We're fearing death because we're thinking we're this body. I'm not a hypocrite. I am not afraid of death because I know while living now in this body, I breathe. When I saw these people dying, I imagine in my mind, wow, what an experience. But because Krsna tells us, our eternal friend who has unconditional love for God, and shown by Him through His pastimes, by the wisdom coming from His representative, who applied this process. Look at the process. People, individual, like us, who followed this process, succeeded. Look at the Brahmana, who heard this wisdom, that if he puts his mind upon rendering loving service to God, he's protected. He achieved success. Look at the prostitute who sat down there and heard the holy names. She became purified, had a change of heart because she came in contact with the supreme purifier, the holy names. And when Scripture tells us, even the Bible tells us, "O Lord, save me by thy name. I will sing and praise your name." But we don't put so much emphasis upon that because the people who are teaching this, who are just putting it in writing, cannot really understand the true meaning of that because they are not with wisdom. They have never heard the absolute truth from someone who knows the absolute truth, God and His pure loving representative. That's why they cannot enter that confidential world. Confidential means, what is confidential? Confidential means you're really wanting to learn someone in confident that what is being taught will not bring you to harm. So now, when you hear this, you know, yes, I've been in illusion for so long, identifying with this body. And how can I become free? I have this longing to have eternal love, eternal shelter. The reason is because we have not really appreciated the process, that the purificatory process of God Himself, the Holy Name, will purify our heart. God Himself will give us the wisdom because He loves us eternally. When we speak of God, it's not what these people are projecting about salvation, retribution, revenge, that God will make you suffer. It's not God who's making us suffer. It is the choice we made. We have made a choice to do our own will, and we are not all powerful. We will be under the laws of karma. We will be under the laws of material nature, and then we will be responsible for action. But if we follow someone, God Himself telling us, why don't you come back to me? I'm sending you someone to fetch you. My bona fide spiritual master, he tells us, search someone who's loving Him. And Jesus Christ, He comes. He gives us this wisdom. Love the Father. But amongst this time and age, who is the person who can give us guidance about this absolute truth? Who will give us? Who will arrange it? It is God Himself. Because He loves us unconditionally. And when we're given this opportunity, you think as a patching, for example, I'm suffering, I'm drowning, you think, I literally say, oh, you're going to be saved, I'm going to pick you up. How can we be saved? The truth will set you free from this ignorance. And what is the truth? It is the absolute truth about our eternal nature, about the world of love that is eternal and full of bliss and happiness. Why is it transcendental? Because material suffering does not touch it. It's a different energy. That's the world of pure devotional service. That spiritual world, because your spirit soul and the worry you have is all connected about this body. You're worried about getting cut, the heat, the pain, everything. If you leave this body, the body can be burned, but you will not be burned. You're eternal. That is the nature of the spirit soul. But it can be understood in reality through analysis. Be intelligent. You're eternal and continually passing from one body, and somebody whom you relate leaves the body. And Scripture tells us, what is inseparable for us? Why are we struggling to exist? Who amongst you wants to die? None. Nobody. You are always exist. You want to exist. But the problem of ignorance is you try to exist eternally in this body. A struggle for survival that is faced with adversity in the face of reality that we will die. This body will die, not us. When we're in ignorance of our identity, we think we'll die. You don't die. So it's the beginning of spiritual life when you understand about your true nature. Because you can know now, I am eternal. This body is temporary. I'm trying so hard for so long, trying to find refuge and happiness through this body. But it's all temporary and never fulfilled. Since I'm eternal, where can happiness be found? With what is eternal? Our eternal long relationship with God. So, when we are not in harmony with God's pleasure, which is based upon love, caring, He cares for us. Love is about caring, compassion, that is inherent in us. But we become hard due to contact with this matter, with this identification of the body. We become selfish. We are so conditioned, my son, but we don't care about others. We are not seeing everybody as a child of God. That's why when we understand this process, when we follow the teachings of Lord Jesus Christ, to love the Father, the source, then naturally we'll be loving everybody. Because we will be seeing the spirit soul, a child of God. And we will be seeing that all the stigma or that person is cruel, that person is bad, it's all connected with his body. And the person is not touched by it. It does not exist in the spiritual world. It is material conditioning. So instead of trying to be morally, supposedly pure, be focused upon understanding our true identity and follow the process that will purify us from this material conditioning. The science of love of God, Bhakti Yoga, being taught by the representative of God. Meaning, we offer our life because to God, and it's very hard. But someone comes here, God's compassion, God's love, who comes here, the personification of God's love, our Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada comes, fetching us, giving us a hand, giving us His wisdom. And if we have this wisdom that is eternal about our true identity, our true position, then we have a foundation to be fearless because we know now God's love for me is unconditional. The reason I am not really in the state of complete surrender is because I'm still holding to something in ignorance. This false bodily identification, this false lordship, I'm so helpless. So now, the Supreme Person, Krishna Himself, picks us up. when we glorify His name, the Supreme Purifier will free us from all this fear. Be fearless, and He gives us a process. Hearing. The more we hear about God, the more we hear about His glories, the more we become glorified. The more we become attached to Him. Because like the residents of Vrindavan, who always see wonderful Krsna, they're so attached to Him because of Him protecting them. And in their lives, they see how Lord Krishna is always there, not to be there, so they will not be in harm's way. So now we can make the choice, like those who are completely surrendered to Lord Krishna, to make a choice with wisdom, not blindly, not this, join this church, not this blind following, with wisdom. That's why the truth will set you free. And the truth is eternal. It is that can be inseparable from us. Our love, our happiness, our search for joy should be with the source of joy. You understand? So, think about it. What is your focus? What is your character? How much you're entangled in this false bodily identification? And if you want to be free, you must learn this science and be guided by God Himself. His embrace, the wisdom, He will give us wisdom. He will take care of us. And He assures us, to those who surrender unto me, I'll protect them. I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. When we make this decision, my Lord, for so long, I'm lost. I cannot get out of this quagmire, like I'm in this, in this, what you call, quicksand. I cannot move. Please help me. He comes. He picks us up. And if you can appreciate God's love for you, you can appreciate the wisdom that is coming to you now. Coming because the devotee comes fetching us by giving us this transcendental wisdom that will connect our life with God's love and shelter. Haribol Namaste.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Hare Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Hare Krishna Prestayate.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Shri Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Shri Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Namaste Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gauranga Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Shri Prabhupada,
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Shri Prabhupada,
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda,
Krishna,
Paramahamsa.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda,
Krishna,
Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda,